Okay, I just took the four-way here and I've broke loose each of the lugs. I've got my floor jack in place. I'm gonna go ahead and jack this sucker on up. I'm gonna break them the rest of the way loose. Basically, and screw them off. They're all loose anyway. Get that wheel out of the way. Actually turn it into my seat and get busy on the brakes. We're gonna need these C-clamps, 19mm socket, a good heavy-duty ratchet. I recommend something for leverage. I'm personally gonna use this old school OEM crowbar / lug wrench that goes to a vehicle that we don't even have anymore. I'm gonna use that to break loose the 19s if they're tight. They're usually pretty snug, and that's going to be the ones on the back side of the caliper that's holding the rotor on. So let's get busy. Went ahead and took this time to rejuvenate the tire inside out, and the rim has been defunctified all the way through the barrel from the back side, and I was able to get the back side of the face the rim as well, which never gets got. So the detailer and me decided to go ahead and take advantage of that before I turn it into my bar stool here and get busy. Now for the 19mm bolts on the back side of the caliper going through the rotor, and the two Phillips heads on the front side are gonna have to either bust loose or get drilled out. We'll see which one in just a second. So we're having to drill them out. That's what that looks like. Titanium bit right through the center. We're going to drill them both out really quick like, and pretty much any electric drill ought to do. And that's what it looks like when you finally get one drilled out. Okay, so we got our leverage on by getting this little doohickey in here. Boom, like that, it locks into place. Then you get it over here and wham, crack it loose. Once you get it loose, ratchet that sucker off of there, and now we have both of the really snug 19mm bolts loosened. One's off, the other one's coming off, and the rotor will slide right off when that one's done. So let's get it. Bolt number 2. Now the two 19s are off. We'll grab the caliper, slide it off the back. I'm gonna go ahead and use two hands for this, so you guys are gonna have to improvise. And so, like I was explaining, you'll want to rest it up here where it's not really in the way and it's not hanging on the hose. And this shit should loose right up. Now that the screws are off, we'll slide that sucker right on off of there. There goes the rotor. So we're gonna get our new rotors, get them on there, get them pads out of there, clean them brakes up, put the new pads in, and pop it back together. Get them pads out, clean them up good. I sprayed mine with gunk engine part cleaner because I'm out of brake cleaner, and it's definitely not nearly as strong, so I'm taking that rag after it sits for a few minutes. I'm gonna wipe it off additionally to make up for the lack of potency. However, it did do a good job of cleaning up all of this here, and we're gonna wipe that down a little bit one more time before we contract those pistons. Pop it all back together, get that new rotor on, and slide them all back together. So we have put all this back together, greased it up where the plates are, meeting the pistons, greased up the connectors where the bolts go through the hose, all that. Cleaned it up and re-greased everything. Now I've gently slid it back over the rotor. Keep in mind the rotor has just been slid right on. Nothing's necessarily holding the rotor on. It's all just being held together by my left hand right now. And we're going to get ready to put the 19mm bolt in the top. Get it started. Alright, now I wanted to take the time to show you before I put it all right back together. I now have it together, but I've continued on to cleaning all the slots out real good until it had its normal finish back. And we re-greased all these little joints and stuff where the metal plates are, and the backing where the pistons connect. All that has been re-greased and slid back together after contracting the pistons with the C-clamps. We were able to pop the pads right into place, fit like a puzzle, slid right over the rotor. Pretty much only fits one way. Slides right over the rotor, and then the two 19s hold the rotor, calipers, and all right into place while the pads just sit right in the little hole that they fit in, like a little puzzle. They snap right in. The two 19s are now ratcheted snug, and time for the wheel to go back on. Again, all we needed for this was two C-clamps, a drill, titanium bit for drilling out the screw holes, extra crowbar for a little bit of leverage, your normal 4-way, and a floor jack. And you've got this whole brake system changed out, brand new rotors and pads. Now let's get this wheel back on. We'll get it hand tight. We'll release the jack. More tight, pressure down, and then we'll put the cap back on the master cylinder. Actually, we could go ahead and do that now that the brakes are in place. So we'll go ahead and put this cap back on your master cylinder at this point. Hard to see mine in here, but it's there, I promise. Wow. Get this bad boy back on. It looks like we're full of fluid. Screw that bad boy back on, get it in place, and yeah, so that's all there is to that. Back down over here. How's that look? Brakes are in place, everything's lubed up, brand new rotors, everything's cleaned up. And let's get that wheel back on. Got us a nice finish in here in the barrel of the wheel now. You see how clean that tire is inside out. Let's pop this boy back on and get her in place. So that concludes our brakes for tonight. We're going to go ahead and finish wrapping it up, pull this thing off the porch and give it a test run. Looks like everything came back together really good. Everything's cleaned up, greased, and ready to rock and roll.